Listen when it's grown men talking, cause real spit you don't find that often. Learn to listen when it's grown men talking, cause real spit you don't find that often. Every discussion from experience, and hopefully within it delivers some deliverance. It's all facts and opinionated, from the west where that real spit originated. Brothers truly trying to save a soul, provoke thought so we can really designate a goal. We on that grown man scribble, the ball in our court with command on the dribble. This is something that'll help us show, cause it's something that'll help us grow. We see exactly what the people need. Now welcome to the show, Spitt'n Pollaseedz. Welcome to the show, Spitt'n Pollaseedz. Welcome to the show, Spitt'n Pollaseedz. Learn to listen when it's grown men talking, cause real spit you don't find that often. Learn to listen when it's grown men talking, cause real spit you don't find that often. Spitt'n Pollaseedz.
Spitt'n Pollaseedz.
Hey,
Spitt'n Pollaseedz.
hey,
Spitt'n Pollaseedz.
what up, y'all? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Yes.
What's good? What's I mean, that's a nice theme song.
Yeah. Oh my God.
For real, we be that can be in the club, bro.
Every time.
Every time. Hey,
yeah,
welcome to the
If they can
show,
see us right
Spitt'n
before the
Pollaseedz.
show start,
Yeah. Maybe we can do
Always.
that one day.
it adds energy.
Because they need to know how we are.
Yeah, how we get down. How we get down.
Y'all see business right now.
Yeah.
Y'all don't never see, what we be doing it, what to
Get down like Jim Brown.
into the groove and get ready. Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Please share. Call your people, let them know that, hey man, y'all know Spitt'n Pollaseedz is on right now.
Well, luckily for us, there's no Laker game on.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
they got broomed out the building.
Hey, be
Man.
nice though. Be nice. I'm
Yeah.
just saying we don't have that
Yeah.
Man,
competition.
man.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all I'm saying.
So it should be
But
a
when we
lot
did
more
have
Travesty.
I said, but when we did have a competition, we did pretty well.
Yeah,
but
still.
still a
yeah,
travesty
that's cool, but yeah,
that they're not
4,
playing
come on,
anymore.
man.
I was hoping
It's,
for
man, come on,
another
dude.
championship.
And they,
Yeah.
people, you can say whoever, LeBron. I'm not gonna say,
Speaking of basketball, though, right?
LeBron
We're going.
as a leader.
I don't know about the current topic.
Talking about Ja Morant.
Oh,
Is what you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Speaking
about.
of basketball.
Well, you play, not play. My bad. You watch basketball. So
Oh, yeah.
you know who he is, right?
Of course.
And the thing,
He's an athletic phenom.
yeah, man, he a beast
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to
on the
hole.
court and off the court.
Yeah, on the court and off the court.
And in the car and in the club.
Mhm.
Feed
He's
on,
just a
feed on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A phenom that's dumb.
yeah.
Right.
Ken,
And,
what you think?
yeah,
Ken,
it's-
what you think about the whole
Come on,
scenario?
man. We can't. And when I'm saying this, I'm speaking of just black players. Period. We can't keep repeating some of these things, these acts that they do. Because we already under the microscope. Period.
I think it
So,
has something to do with power.
I believe so.
You know what? You want to know my take on it?
I really do.
Where's his father?
His
father's his homie. What do
is
you
there.
mean?
He
Really?
brought. He
Yeah.
brought.
Yeah,
He
brought-
bring the.
Yeah, his father's.
Well, his dad wasn't in the
no,
car.
he wasn't in the car, but
but
his father is like his homie.
yeah, he
For
bought
real. Oh,
bought
see,
his
he be
dad
at the- yeah.
a house
that-
right next door to him.
That's his father. It's not his father. It's like you said. It's his homie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's
Because
the
just
difference.
looking at the story, he went to protect his mom, which is a good thing.
But
But
you don't do it like that.
You don't bring the hammer with you.
Yeah, no, that was a whole nother instance.
Yeah.
But you don't bring the homies and chase the dude in the back and all that. Like
No.
you handle
Yeah.
things with a different type of decorum
Right.
when it comes to that.
I don't
Because
think
I don't think he's
I don't
cut
think
from
they-
that cloth.
Yeah, because
No,
if
he's
his
not.
if
He's
his
not
mom
gonna say.
and his dad is, because his mom got to be adhering to the situation because she called him a couple of times,
she
right?
did. But this is the thing, bro. This is the thing, hands
Hey,
down.
come help me.
This is the thing, hands down. A lot of people try to give him excuses of this and this, but you sign a contract that tells you what you
Prevents you.
cannot do
Mhm.
while you're under contract. Riding a motorcycle is one, skiing is
Mhm.
another one. And why do you think these things are put into place? Because they're protecting their investment.
Yes.
So we're giving you 200s of millions of dollars to act right while you can't do that.
Yeah. And he sat down with the commissioner.
He did it for a long time, was
Yeah,
reprimanded.
All that. So-
a short time before. So, I'm
Yeah.
He's a repeat
I'm
offender, I guess.
less forgiving when it comes to this in this situation. Again, come on, bro. Like, because the role model,
Right.
whether you want to or not, you're sending a message
Yeah.
to our youth.
Yeah.
We're not spending
Yeah.
forever on it, but it's just like,
Yeah.
come on, bro.
It's like you acting just like the ones that's out here in the street that we deal with every day, and you putting yourself, in that same group, and it's like, dude, you gotta hold yourself at a higher standard.
How old is he?
Like early 20s, man, no more
Come
than
on, bro.
24 years old.
We gotta say we all made. I'm not gonna even say maybe he's just not matured at that level. At 20, let's say he's 24. You know what I mean? We've all made some.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's say he worked at McDonald's, and you're not supposed to bring a gun to work at McDonald's. You're gonna be
He would
fired
get
from
fired.
there.
Yes.
Let's say he worked for the state. You're not supposed. But when you get to that high, that high of a plateau,
You reach it,
and you are changing lives and your parents' lives and all this other stuff. It seems like there should be some people in your life to help be guardrails against you falling off.
I think there'll
agree.
be mentorship.
It
I think
should.
when you're thrusted into that level of money and notoriety, that you should probably have some kind of a mentorship. I think Magic Johnson might have tried something like that or made mention to it. I think that is necessity when a person is thrusted that early on in life.
But they have certain things put in place in the NBA that teaches you how to maintain. They have classes, bro.
But some of them need one-to-ones.
Yeah.
Because if it's hard to even say that excuse it if your parents are complicit in the situation. You know what I mean?
But sometimes you got to look at
ignorance is.
You got to look at the reward too. You got to be like, all right, mama,
bliss.
you tripping?
Yeah.
I need to secure this.
Everybody should be.
Everybody should be that way towards him.
Yeah.
That's when
Like,
exactly.
Let's
talk about his friend who filmed it.
That's where I was.
Man.
That's where I was. Like,
yeah, I would have shot him. Oh, we shouldn't say that.
No,
that's violence. We might get flagged for that.
But actually, he was in the car and he pulled it up to the friend, and so he knew.
And then
he knew they were alive
to his head, dude. How many situations you seen where guns go off?
Hey,
and so
I think that's enough for John Morant.
Well, what about a moment of silence for Tina Marie?
Gina Marie?
Not
Tina Marie.
Tina Marie?
Wow.
Tina Marie. She been gone.
Oh,
Tina Turner?
Tina Turner, yeah. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
You're thinking white. You're thinking white.
Tina.
He's thinking
and
Jim Brown. And Jim Brown. Jim Brown and
you sure Jim Brown is not Jim White?
Oops.
Good Lord.
Shit. It's the
sweater. Right. My bad.
Yeah, but let's I don't know how what are we gonna just do a moment of silence for?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do 30 seconds. 32 seconds.
Okay.
That was 32.
Okay.
That was close.
We on the air. We on the air.
No, I was saying 32 seconds for Jim Brown.
Yeah,
he was number.
Okay,
32.
hold on.
Yeah,
Kevin was counting by twos.
Yeah, it was counted by twos.
Yeah, we're on the air. So
and Tina Turner,
yeah,
two I would say Tina Turner was. Let's say that she's the queen of rock and roll. Taste the cake, anime.
I would, yeah.
Eat the cake. Queen of rock and roll.
I would say that.
Let's give her that.
Let's give her that.
Across the board.
Oh yeah.
All the way.
Definitely. Yeah, she get that.
So what's the name of this show?
Sacrifices of Entrepreneurship, Part 2.
We
had such a robust, in Trevor words, a robust conversation last week that we want to bring it back. It's so much left to talk about.
And the audience said they wanted it again.
They did.
Yeah.
That's why we brought it back.
Yeah.
Because
Are y'all there?
All said you wanted it.
And we have the phone number this week. The phone number is
please.
scrolling across
Yeah.
the screen. So
Spin the
please,
rock,
There we
so.
go.
feel free to
Episode
call in,
16,
chime
all of that.
in,
Entrepreneur part 2.
just join the conversation.
Yes.
I can start it off with
Set it off.
what we didn't discuss last week was a support system.
Go ahead.
A support system when you're making this transition from being an employee to an entrepreneur. Like what was heavy for me was having a support system. I had the person I was dating at the time was very influential in me leaving where I was. She's like, just jump. I'm telling you, I got you. If you need something, I got you. Fortunately, I didn't, I just swam and I didn't sink.
Mm-hmm.
But just me knowing that I had that support system and like
Makes a
you
difference.
really got me
Right.
financially,
Yeah.
helped tremendously.
I don't know who this was, but
Right.
It was Val. It was Val.
I mean, I
I don't
wasn't even
mind.
saying
I'm
say
just
the
saying.
name.
Yeah,
But did you leave?
shout out to Val. Thank you for encouraging
Val? Thank
me
you, Val.
to
Thank
jump.
you, Val. Val, call in, Val.
Absolutely.
No, you ain't got to do all that.
Val,
but
call
I'm
in.
just saying.
Because what I want to know, Val, is
She got
You know,
friends.
I mean, you can. No, I ain't tripping.
You want to know if she got friends?
no.
Oh.
I like her mindset. And after he made it, did he leave her?
Not immediately.
Nah.
I'm gonna leave that
no,
alone.
I'm just saying. Obviously, something happened because we're
Something
not
happened.
together.
I'm
That's all
just-
I'm saying.
That sounds
shit.
like a great woman
Yeah.
to support you in the time you were here, and she pushed you up. And then when you got up here, a lot of women say we do this. When we get up here, we say bye-bye.
It was let's not get it twisted.
I'm not saying you did
No,
that.
I'm just saying let's
I'm
not
just
get
saying.
twisted.
It's a whole
It
different
was
show.
the encouragement. Fortunately, I was able to jump in and swim. So like you didn't necessarily
She
have
pushed
to.
you. She pushed you in the water.
You stayed afloat.
You know, like how you say, "Oh, you want to learn to swim?" Somebody just push you in the water, and you just figure
No,
it
she
out.
didn't push me because I jumped. I did
Yeah.
it voluntarily.
Okay.
It was just
But you
nice
was,
to know that I had
had
support.
support.
Had her.
Yeah,
She
it
had
was-
your back.
which was very
Instrumental.
Right.
instrumental in me making that move the way
That's
I
right.
did it. Yeah.
That's right.
What about you, Trevor? did anybody push you?
Not really.
Okay,
I,
you did it on your own.
Well, what
You did
happened
it,
was
but-
I was doing it so much, whether it be through high school on to when I graduated and met y'all. It was like, okay, you gonna go to school for a while? I'm like, nah, because I didn't think it was, that prestigious kind of I wanted to you impress my family, my parents and stuff like that. I didn't think it was that prestigious until I started when it was.
So your family supported you?
My family did.
Okay,
but-
so that's what we.
But
so it wasn't nobody that didn't support
was-
you. It was your family.
well, I'll say this: they didn't. They wanted me to make a decision on where I wanted to go.
Gotcha.
Right? It wasn't like you should do it. You should. It was my gift was calling me.
Mhm.
So
Once you found out what your gift was, and
They had
we're
your
talking
back.
about the support
Right.
after
Yeah.
you've made the choice, not
Right.
coercing you to make a choice.
Yeah. One way or
That
the other.
safety net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
You
think
didn't
that
just,
safety net is important.
you just knew you had somebody that was there.
yeah, I live with my parents, so
Yeah.
it was like, hey,
Yeah.
you need to come home. But just it was I stuck to it, and that was it. That was it for me.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Period. That was it. Then I got fired from Price Club.
Yeah,
That was
you
even
probably
more
deserved it.
encouragement.
I heard about your Price Club days.
Oh yeah, I used to
Yeah,
miss it,
you probably deserved it.
a little bit. But yeah, for the most part, it was just drive, personal drive. But my friends supported me. Going to different homes and like, you gonna go to school, you gonna go. It's been talk about support, Irvin. It's been times that I was at the school and I have all y'all live up in the cosmetology department, and I'm cutting everybody's hair.
Yeah.
When we all had hair, so that you guys were.
Yeah, I
was,
definitely played a pivotal part of your success because like I didn't want to go up to El Camino to those cosmetology
Yeah, the
Classes.
all those women, and I'm the
Yeah,
only
exactly.
guy.
You're the
I
only
mean,
guy in
Wow.
there. All them women there,
right?
Right.
Man.
Wow.
See what
with
friends
them, with
do.
them white,
And we all had
Sacrifice.
jettas.
That
white
was a-
scrubs on, and
Yeah,
that was a
everything tight,
sacrifice
man.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tight
that was-
uniforms and stuff.
Huge sacrifice.
Rainbows
Yeah.
of women.
Yeah, seas,
Man.
seas
But
of
he's
women.
but all y'all stayed in there diligently
Yeah.
and waited your turn to get cut, and then
Exactly.
that was it.
Sacrifice.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You welcome.
Don't do
Can
it
we have
again.
to feed some of them every once in a
Yeah.
while?
Yeah.
Man.
And then they want to go out later on and stuff like, man, please.
You're
Man,
not
you
here
know
for
that.
that.
Women been a
Yeah.
thorn in our side since the beginning.
But His grace and mercy
Yeah,
is
yeah.
sufficient.
I'm not
It's
gonna say
sufficient.
they was a thorn in my side. I'm not gonna go that far. I would like the
But it's a good
thorn that
thorn.
no.
Oh my damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
what about you, Kev? What-
man,
what-
it's
what-
it's
what
yeah, I
about you?
do have to support, my kids and B still got stuff that I'm doing and trying to get done before this year is up and out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it takes time, take you away, away from them, but they understand it. This is
Yeah,
I'm
that's
doing
true.
this for you all,
Yes.
you know.
That's great.
So yeah.
I was reading something and it was about entrepreneurship and it was talking about like when you're embarking on a new journey, you need to sit your family down and say, "Hey, Pops or Baba, my children call me Baba, is going to be engaged in this process for a while. And this is going to benefit the whole family.
Mhm.
But I want you all to understand what we're about to get into." And you briefly tell them a little bit, and I want your assistance, your help, and that so they can really understand like why you're not coming home until this time. I think we need to express that with our children, with our family members,
Mhm.
especially when you're embarking on a new journey. Even your friends, like, "Hey, I may not be able to make it out to the
Right.
soiree this because I'm doing this."
Right.
So
Or especially for children, it also makes them feel like they're a part
they're a
of it.
part of it.
Right.
That's what you want to do.
You know what I mean? Like, no,
That's-
I want to help daddy.
yeah.
No, you supposed to be doing this. You ain't here.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And they
Right.
just step up when it comes to that.
My children, and even when I was young, I learned to help. Whether it's mopping the floors, sweeping the floors, I learned so much work ethic from being in my dad's business, being at the candy house. You learn a lot of work ethic, and that's what I think. A lot of times, that's what we missing today.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Mhm.
Because if you don't have it, you don't,
Right.
and you go to a job, you be like,
But it's also-
you don't even know how to sweep.
It's also the village,
For real.
because when you get away
real.
from the home and you don't have nobody outside of the home to encourage you or to hold you accountable, that plays a part too, because nobody wants to say something to
Yeah.
the youth.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
that's recent though. Wouldn't you say that's recent, more recent? Because
I
back
would.
in my time, the lady down the street
I would say
something to
at
you.
least 20 years though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
You know,
shit.
you gotta come, because the way it's playing out in society now, it's time.
Yeah.
At least 20 years.
Yeah. It's a shame to say that the elders are scared of the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're frightened of them.
Yeah, it's no. It's
And
no
they can,
respect.
and the youth can sense it, and they sense the
Right.
ones that aren't.
And
Those are the ones who
they will
have the
challenge you.
influence. Yeah, but
They will
those are the
challenge
ones that get respect and
And-
have more of influence.
And on a personal note, I just had my cousin who's 67, been in the construction industry for years, built many homes, got his son and many of our family members in the industry of building sets, like
Mhm.
for the movie industry.
Mhm.
He's 67 years old. I had another cousin that is 20 years old. That is another cousin's son. And he just went off on him and just started hitting him.
So the youth
The youth.
hit the older.
hit the older gentleman.
The elder, yeah.
And he was telling me the story today. It just broke my heart because he said, I have a case that against Madison against Madison. Madison versus Madison.
Wow.
And I was like, that like
biblical.
Yeah.
yeah. But he was showing this youth, this is how you make money.
Fish.
Yes. Not even that, but inviting him into his network.
Into his network, his world. He lives at his mother's house. He don't even stay at his parents' house. He lives at my older cousin's mother's house.
Pray,
And got
pray
physical.
for that situation. Yeah.
And, oh my,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. You know,
No respect.
and this is where the youth is. But I can't even blame him because he didn't get the help that he needed. His father did not help him.
And that might be a whole show in itself. Discipline, the discipline.
Yeah.
Methods of discipline. Like
Yeah.
I know what worked for me.
Yeah. But when we talk about the safety net, if he just would lean
You know what I mean?
to the understanding of him, you can learn the whole field where you can make thousands of dollars, where you set for life.
But if you don't respect the teacher or the network, there was some stuff we didn't do because we just didn't want to mess up.
Right.
We had a fear of like my family
absolutely
is gonna not like me. That was enough.
Bringing shame on the name.
Bringing shame on the name.
And then going into business, that was kind of like you want to make your family proud.
Yes.
Running your own and even failing to some extent, you're like, you know what? At least I did it. I can respect failing. I just can't respect not trying.
Yeah.
And when your family sees you try the entrepreneurship, sometimes again, it'll hurt in terms of time and the things that you have to do, whether it be family events, family parties. Because I had to either show up late to that and or miss some events, period. And that was hard for me because I don't live to work. I work so I can live well. And I think that we all, want to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Yeah.
But not being able to spend that quality time with your family, that right. Like if you would have gone on tour, you wouldn't have been able to enjoy, you and Derek, you know what I mean? Going out to your family time. And that right there is, I think, something to be cherished. And then your entire family being able to be on vacation at the same time. If you guys,
priceless.
Yeah, that is priceless.
And that was something for me.
Belinda,
oh yeah, you're gonna read Belinda's.
No, I read anybody that come up there,
go
but
ahead.
that was
Read
the only
Belinda's.
one. So far, given the sacrifices up and down of entrepreneurship, have you ever came closer to giving up and going back into the workforce, working for someone else?
I many times.
Yeah,
I have.
I think we
have?
all.
Go ahead, expand on that.
I can say, ever since I left in 2006,
You ain't been back.
I ain't been back. I ain't had the desire.
That's a blessing though.
But it doesn't mean that it don't get tough and it gets rough. But I have the benefit of having so many different dimensions to what I do. When I get tired of doing this, a jazz gig comes. When I get tired of doing that, it's something for the movies. So many different layers to what I do. But when that money stops, I can't lie and say I didn't want to do some other stuff.
Right.
In addition to though. But not just completely give up and just dive.
And I think because even with myself, man, I have a contract with the city of LA and the mayor's office, and that's work, But at the same time, I'm still building my own, and we deal with a lot of at-risk kids, and y'all know, we deal with the streets, and not all the kids, because you got some kids out there that don't want to be a part of the street and want to go to school and go to college or get jobs and all of that. So I'm using that to help, because it may be that field or that part of that field that I'm building my business in. So the on the job training or whatever you want to say. So yeah, I get it. I mean, I can't, and I'm not gonna stop until I'm where I want to be.
Yeah.
We have I believe we have Brandon calling in or what have you, or we have
You nervous?
Yeah, exactly. That's dry. Hey man, we got a
no,
guest.
go ahead. I'm sorry. I
Wow.
was
Wow.
Start rubbing his
Don't
leg.
don't ever introduce me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Man.
I apologize.
Don't even
for my
speak.
Hey,
presentation.
we got
Are
yeah.
we ready for Brandon to
Wiping off his
participate actively
clammy
in this
hands.
conversation? Okay, well, let's welcome Brandon Thrasher, ladies and gentlemen.
Brandon
tell-
Thrasher.
Brandon
what?
Thrasher,
You wanna-
ladies and gentlemen.
wait, you want to
an
tell what he
instructor
does?
of business.
Your guest?
I'm nervous.
We have an
God.
instructor of business, and he's also a dear friend of mine. He's been investing in different aspects. I would almost call him the Thurston Howell of the hood, if you will. He also instructs business and things of that nature. So I want to welcome those of you that are viewing, those that have pressed share and like, those of you that subscribe,
And things of that nature.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Thrasher. Welcome, Brandon.
Welcome,
Thrasher.
Brandon.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you guys having me on. And I tuned in last week when you guys started this conversation on entrepreneurship, and I just think it's a great topic. Number one, as Trevor alluded to, not only do I teach business, but I teach entrepreneurship, and I've been doing it for several years now, both at the post-secondary level. I've taught at the high school level, and all gamuts in between. But, when we talk about entrepreneurship, the one thing that really kind of stuck out to me and I really wanted to tap in was, first of all, why are we identifying entrepreneurship as being a sacrifice? um, and I just pose that to you gentlemen. Why is entrepreneurship a sacrifice?
It's a sacrifice to me because it requires you to leave what's safe to travel into the unknown. When you're getting paid and how you're getting paid, and are you going to be able to sustain this your current lifestyle because you don't have the normal 9 to 5, which grants you security.
True, and I do believe in that perspective as well. But first of all, before you can even embark on the journey of entrepreneurship, you first have to have that mindset, that big why as to why you're doing it. And I think you shared that last week as to why you endeavored or jumped into entrepreneurship. But I think for many, when starting out, especially when it comes to minorities, we don't have that person that we can turn to and say, how can we do this, or how do we build a successful business like other cultures may have. So I really truly feel that before you look at starting a business and you want to become an entrepreneur, you first need to look at how you're going to reshape your mindset. Now, Trevor and I, we've done some business deals together years ago. We flew to Atlanta, and we were looking at income property that we were looking to purchase. And never when we went to Atlanta did we say, you know what? Whatever we put into this, we're going to sacrifice what we're putting into this. I think the term that we used is that we are investing into real estate so that it will yield the benefits or the fruits of what we're looking to benefit for us and our family in the long run. And I think once we start reimagining how we view entrepreneurship, where we're not giving up something, or as you guys are saying, sacrifice, because if you're sacrificing, I feel that you're killing something. When Abraham was asked to go to the mountaintop to sacrifice his son, he was actually asked to kill his son. And when many people hear sacrifice, that means that they are giving up something and they don't know what the potential outcome is going to be. When you're investing, you're looking for a return on your investment. You're looking to have something better than what you started with.
I think I hear you and I understand you. This is Kanoom, by the way, Brandon.
Hey, Camille, how's it going?
All right, wonderful, wonderful. I think uh, maybe sacrifice, with the way you're posing it, has more of a negative connotation. And what we're saying
Absolutely.
is, I have to sacrifice something, to gain something. Whether it's time. Okay, I can't go hang out with my friends like I want to.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
going to sacrifice that
Mm-hmm.
time and maybe
Mm-hmm.
go to a conference or a
Mm-hmm.
networking event for my business. And
Absolutely.
that's I think that's what we
Type of
when we're talking about sacrifice, that's
Yeah.
what we're
Mhm.
saying. We're
And
not
and
saying like that was deep and heavy when sacrificing a child.
Yeah, just like when you're sacrificing time to go to college.
Yeah.
You're setting aside those years right out of high school, and you benefit because you're hoping to benefit and get a job paying higher, or your opportunities are greater because you sacrifice in the beginning. I think it's more of a we're talking about the initial
Yeah, it's
investment.
it's it's just
Yeah,
like Brandon, I'm sure you're familiar with it, is the 10,000 hour rule.
absolutely. Yes.
You're
yeah,
sacrificing those hours that you
yeah,
put in to become a an erudite in this
yeah,
field.
Hmm.
exactly. And you
But
gain
the one thing,
a lot of
but see,
freedom as well. You
but
gain.
see, here's the thing.
There is a prize at the end of the
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. Us gentlemen talking about entrepreneurship, we can agree because we're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Now, when you take yourself out of the equation and you're having a conversation that may not be in this space, are they and you started the conversation earlier talking about, you have to sit your family down and you have to let them know that there may be events or there may be things that I may not be able to attend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're planting that seed as this is a sacrifice, how will a non-entrepreneur receive that?
Mm.
As opposed to, you know what? I'm investing in us. I may not be able to attend A, B, or C
Mm-hmm.
because I'm investing for you, my child. I'm investing into our family.
Yeah,
So,
I get it. I
I,
definitely get it.
it may boil down to semantics, but
Yeah.
I think when we talk about it outside of our core people, they may not look at it the same way. They may be looking at, oh, that's just Trevor, and he just cutting hair.
My thing, Brandon, is I'm looking for the person who is petrified of doing it, of making that sacrifice, and I'm trying to tell them, I'm trying to tell them that this is how I did it, and these were my steps, and these are some things or some ways you can look at it, as opposed to being so fearful that you will never jump. So I'm living example of where I come from. Entrepreneur wasn't really preached. So for all the ones who want to know how I got where I am or where I'm going, let me tell you, these were my steps, and it may make it even easier for you to make a decision. And I want you to go further than I've ever gone, because I'm giving you the knowledge of what I actually went through, so you don't have to.
Absolutely. And I'm not taking anything away from anybody. But when we talk about that individual that's looking at how to start, I look at it as being better fit if they can take away a positive than, you building up with negatives. Yes, absolutely.
Brandon,
If you want to call them sacrifices, they're sacrifices. But if you're really trying to build up an individual, and I do that a lot in the work that I do. I have to build them up and give them that confidence. I think somebody mentioned earlier, you can teach a man, or you can give a man a fish, but if you teach them how to fish, they can eat for a life. That's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of folks.
Brandon, I have a question.
Yes.
How would you encourage people to become entrepreneurs? Um, if they had some intrepidation here
that's a-
about. I love when,
see-
when
but
the
see,
EP
that's
talk
a-
words. It got me excited.
One of the reasons why I think that's an awesome question,
Yeah.
because if you have that drive within, it's going to come across as if this entrepreneurship is easy, and people have a tendency to believe it's easy because they don't see the production that it took to get to
Yeah,
this
I was
point.
asking Brandon
And
the
that was
question.
a question.
I was
Yeah.
trying to ask you a question, Brandon.
I'm sorry, bro.
Did you get it, Brandon? I don't know.
Did he answer that for
You
you?
know, maybe you can repeat that for me. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying.
Repeat the question.
I was saying, how do you encourage individuals that may straddle the fence on being an entrepreneur? How do you encourage them to take that dive and plunge into
Well,
Don't say plunge. Don't say dive.
there you go. Well, you know, that's a great question because, first of all, anyone that's looking to being an entrepreneur, they must identify their own why. What exactly, or why do they even want to start a business? A lot of people make it look easy because they're seeing the finished product or they're seeing the fruits of what an individual has invested into their business. But as EP pointed out last week, when he had a day job and he was taking some of his money and buying a file cabinet and putting that to the side, a lot of folks don't see that, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of entrepreneurs really don't even share that side because they don't want people to know that I'm kind of struggling trying to get this business off the ground. You know, a lot of people want to have that attitude, fake it until they make it, you know, but they really don't kind of understand the why part of why are they doing this? You know, the big why of your goal is the most important driver and the primary reason of why you will be a great successful business or have a great successful business.
Let me say this, Brandon, too. This is another thing that helped me. I had small goals in the very beginning. I wanted to I just wanted freedom.
Yep.
I wanted to be able to just work for myself, set my own schedule, and just maintain alone. And I felt like I was rich.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just the freedom to do whatever.
Yep.
So I started there, and then once you get comfortable there and you amass certain things, and then you just add on to that, and then add on to that, and then layers start to add on, and you elevate and you get higher and higher.
And you bring up a great point because, you know, a lot of people want to take it all on at one time, and you do have to take those baby steps. You know, steps by inch equals a foot at some point. A foot will equal a yard, you know, but you got to take those initial steps and set those small goals and achieve those small goals before you can start even looking at those bigger goals as far as what you want to do with your business.
And oftentimes, if you just start, other people will help. But if you won't even start yourself, and I use the analogy all the time, is like if you're sitting on the side of the road, Brandon, your car broke down and you just got your flashes on and you're sitting, right? 9 times out of 10, people aren't going to just pull over and help you get off the side of the road. It takes you getting out and pushing it yourself. And then you notice a lot more people will pull over quickly and help you get it off the road. So we have to just start in order to even see where we're going to end up.
I totally agree.
And how do you, in your class, how do you, like EP was just saying, how do you teach people just to begin? What is the first process besides the business plan? Do you tell your students to
good question
to get into?
Again, I go back to they have to understand their why. Why is it that they want this business? And then once they understand that, then they can start looking at chipping away at all of those other areas within the business. Now, most people will say, you know, hey, I got to develop a business plan. Well, maybe so, you know, and I say that, you know, kind of half-heartedly because, you know, you can look at developing a simplified plan, which is what's going to work for you. It can just be a one-page document where you're going to identify your product or service that you're going to sell, your target market, and how you're going to reach your potential target market. If you know that, and obviously, you know, what it's going to take to financially to get there. If you know those 4 key areas, you know, that is in itself what a business plan is. Now, if you're looking at trying to go out and get angel investors or venture capitalists, you know, that's a whole nother ballpark. And most entrepreneurs starting out, they are not at that point yet. They have to prove their concept. And to prove their concept, they have to know, again, their why. They have to know their target market. They have to know how they're going to reach their target market, and what is it going to take for them to get off the ground to get their business going. I think oftentimes, I mean, and there's hundreds and thousands of books that are written on entrepreneurship, you know, and I was a serial entrepreneur myself. You know, when I met Trev, I was just coming out of the fashion industry after having a clothing line, and I was totally lost. And I've had a couple of other businesses after that. But the one thing that it taught me was that I have to educate myself. I don't care how I educate myself. I don't care if it's reading books. I go to Windshield University, which is, you know, I listen to a lot of audio books in the car when I'm driving from one place to another, you know, which allows me to absorb information or concepts that I may not have thought about that I can implement in my business. But, you know, if you look at it, you know, those are the key areas that, you know, one should look at if they're looking at starting a business. I don't know if I got off topic, and if I answered
No, you're
it's
good.
all relative.
No, you're definitely right on point. What? Go ahead.
I can say one thing, and I would encourage, and I wish I had it more in the beginning of my career, was an internship.
Mhm.
That can be very helpful
Yeah.
if you seeing how it starts and you see the stuff behind the scenes, and then you might even find out that what you wanted to do is not for you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
pivot
Because
without
you can get
Hands
into it
down.
and be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I didn't know it requires this, or I
Nah.
didn't know I'd have to give up that, and I didn't know I had to study this much, and I don't
I
like
need
to
to know
study.
calculus.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
hell no.
And
So-
and let me go ahead, since you said that of course gonna read Belinda's. So Monica said, I applaud each of you. Entrepreneurship is risky, and I prefer the safety and the security of working for a corporation. So I read not just Belinda's, but Monica's
Okay,
as
thank
well.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your
Mhm.
for your diligent service.
Yes.
You just
But you know, even to Belinda's point, you know, even if you do want that safety net, which I have nothing against that.
that was Monica,
Monica.
so we could
Oh, Monica, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't
Go
know,
finish.
and I don't know why I forgot that name, and my wife's name is Monica. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's a whole
Trevor's
nother
cool,
thing.
but go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, Trevor.
But you know, even if you're going to look at, you know, taking that safety net of working a 9 to 5, even a lot of companies are looking for intrapreneurs. And those are individuals that are working within the company that can come up with new ideas, new ways to save money on the old ways of doing business. So you may not look at entrepreneurship, but you can definitely be an entrepreneur within a company that you're working with or working in. You don't always have to be the one bringing the problems, but you can be the one providing the solutions to the problems.
So Brandon, would an entrepreneur be like somebody like that's like a consultant or a contractor, or
No, it
how?
can be, you know, I remember just working in corporate America, you know, and one of the things years ago they said, well, we're looking somebody with an entrepreneurial mindset, you know, somebody that's working for them, that can help solve problems that they may have. Either it's a way to make more money or to save time and make things more efficiently, or run things more efficiently. So, that doesn't necessarily mean it's an outside consultant coming in. It could be people that you already have working within the organization that you empower them to have or allow them to communicate those type of entrepreneurial ideas within the organization.
Brandon, can you give us your information because before we get, I know we're going a little further, but how would someone is interested in entrepreneurship? Should they go take your class? Should they contact you via email, call you? How would an individual go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can be reached via email. I'm in the midst of launching my own online academy that's focusing on business, not just entrepreneurship, on the beginning accounting aspect of business.
Mm.
So I can definitely be reached at info at iedventure.com. Again, that's info at iedventure.com.
Okay, that's dope. That's
Thank you,
dope.
brother.
Thank you, man.
I hope everybody was able to write that down.
Yeah,
Maybe put
We
it in
got
the
it.
comments.
We got it.
and yeah, I'll drop it into chat
Yeah,
as well
yeah.
here.
So we definitely want to be able to not just present what your fabulous education and what you do, but how people can also engage with you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
In your background, man, looks like you're very, very accomplished.
yeah.
Well, you know what? Hey, look, a lot of people are seeing the
I can
look,
see through the blur. I
Yeah,
can see
see
those
the awards.
the awards and the certificates.
hey, look, it happened over trial and error, and this is just one step along the way. It's never done. I'm always learning, and I'm always willing to share the information that I've learned along the way, to hopefully inspire someone else to invest in their business.
Thank you for sharing, man.
Yeah,
That is
Yeah.
our goal here,
Yeah.
to inspire.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, man, taking time out
Oh,
to
yeah.
lock in
Yeah,
with us.
absolutely.
You're a good dude, man.
Thank you.
Hey,
brother.
so are you gentlemen. I mean, for even having this platform and allowing folks to just hear about your thoughts and opinions, and allowing folks to call in and chime in and comment is wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
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 Thank you.
And
Trevor,
Trevor, how would you like
got it
to?
together yet?
we
You got
gonna
it
give
together?
Trev the
yeah, that
last
was-
words to you, Brandon. So
No,
he's
I just
There you go.
He's
Yeah,
just-
I was just laughing.
he's wiggling in
Yeah.
the seat.
No,
What?
He said,
anyway, Brandon, we really appreciate you. I know you got a lot of things going on. You just got out of class and you had to take care of things at home, but you took the time to be on the show. We all greatly appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we really appreciate you.
Yeah, he just,
Thank
you know what, Brandon, and I know you know Trevor for a long time, so he has to put his own spin on what we already said. That's
Yeah.
all the time.
So y'all gave me
He
the
has
mic.
to
I was like,
deliver
okay,
it.
bye.
He has to deliver it his way. So but
It's all good, and hopefully we can look at continuing this dialogue, and seeing how it evolves and where it goes. So,
That's
but
right.
it was a pleasure, and thank you again, gentlemen,
Thank you,
for
brother.
having
Have
me.
a good evening.
Thank you, man.
Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Thrasher. Don't get quiet now,
Yeah, he
Trevor.
like,
Whoa.
God, dog. We just gonna get quiet now.
That was it. Shit.
What happened though? What happened, buddy?
Hey.
What happened?
I was paying attention, and
He was
it
so
was
enamored
it was
by
good.
it.
I think it was good information.
It
Yeah,
was.
it
And,
was.
Definitely.
and then to
Yeah.
for
Of course.
people to get, I guess, kind of the theory aspect of it. And we were talking about the practical. It was a good perspective that kind of like something I didn't really delve into mentally. Like, okay, how do people see doing business, and how do people see being an entrepreneur? And it's like that was a twist on it. Like, okay, yeah.
Let me ask you
know?
this question, Trevor. Would you encourage your child or your children to follow your same path?
I would, but it would be better.
But
I would, but it would be better.
Yeah,
It's-
right.
I would give
Okay.
them. I would give them like you follow my path,
Right.
but to avoid a lot of pitfalls, a lot of speed bumps. It takes
No, not
almost
speed bump, potholes.
potholes. This is. I think it's a little bit of both.
Well,
I really think in
with
business, it's really a little bit of both because you can see some things coming, and something like something happens all of a sudden. So now, learning how to. I didn't understand how to negotiate with Peter to pay Paul. I didn't understand having to be diplomatic.
I just heard
Things
someone
of
say that
nature.
earlier. Peter and Paul. I just heard that earlier.
It was probably at his house. Paul's brother name is Peter. He was probably talking.
But yeah, I would encourage my children to be whatever they enjoy doing, and I would say this to any young person.
Yeah.
Any business that you want to go into is anything that you're interested in. Just own a business in that, but understand some of the principles and the speed bumps and potholes that me and my friends have to share with you.
One thing I would encourage heavily is to invest in keeping your credit right.
Mm-hmm.
Saves your life in business.
Because it takes you forever to get it back.
It takes you ever to get it back.
It's not that difficult, so just get it.
Yeah.
But learn how to use it.
Learn how to use it. Right. Because Peter and Paul comes a lot in that business card.
Yeah. So worth it.
Yeah.
So worth it.
Yeah. But I think that's what we really have to encourage more of.
Yeah.
With not just our kids, but even their friends and family, whatever. I mean, just like, with my sons, they already working on one of their business, amongst the brothers.
Yeah.
But only reason why I correct you on that, Trevor, is because the speed bumps you do get warnings, but the potholes you don't. So you can kind of adjust a little bit,
when you know it's coming.
But the potholes sometimes you just cannot avoid, and they would make your whole day go bad.
And I would encourage you if entrepreneurship is not for everybody,
right?
But if it's not for you, learn how to play the game,
right?
Learn how to play the corporate game, because it is not fair, and you can shield yourself from a whole lot of hurt and disappointment. Being an entrepreneur, there are a lot of negatives to it, but there are a lot of positives to it as well, working for yourself. So
one of the things that I learned that being in entrepreneurship, it's probably a negative thing where the job is. They said a job is an acronym for just over broke. They say you will never get rich or wealthy at a job, and that was an incentive for me to be like, we got a call.
Well, go ahead on.
Go ahead on then. Okay, caller. What's your name and question or comment?
It's a little last minute, but it's Takasha.
That's fine. Better late than never.
Come on, Takasha.
Exactly. Yeah. So what I would say to anyone who is interested in going into entrepreneurship is make sure that it's something that you're passionate about, something that's going to drive you, and not when the alarm clock goes off on Monday morning, you're like, oh, if you say that at least at one time, it's not for you.
I don't know.
Study it. Be passionate about it.
I'm passionate, and I say it. I ain't gonna lie to you, like,
especially after you reach a certain age. I'm not saying it
Exactly.
because I got to get up and go to work.
Entrepreneurship is retirement.
Right.
Look towards
exactly.
that. Man.
And you also want to follow somebody who is in that industry, that field, to see if that's something that you're interested in the first place.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that.
Right.
And always know your first year or 2 years, you're not going to be busting out the bank with anything.
Yes.
You want to reinvest into whatever that business is.
Yes.
In order for it
definitely
to continue to be successful.
Yes.
Right. The streets, they call it re-up.
I think you mentioned that last week. Like, well, it was a whole nother topic, but it was on business, and he mentioned like reinvesting in the business.
Yeah, staying current.
It's a must.
Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely. Thank you. We appreciate
That's
it.
my take
Thank
on
you,
it.
Takasha.
I'm sorry.
You.
One more thing.
Yes.
Sorry. One more thing.
I don't know. Go ahead. But go ahead. Go ahead, Takasha.
we all have several ideas as to what we want to do. We may have a clothing business, and then we want to take off in another, do makeup, stick to one, perfect that one.
Right. Before
Once
you
that one
move
is
on.
thriving and it's bringing in a
Right.
steady income, then move on to the next.
Yeah.
Definitely
Never
agree with that.
juggle. Never juggle multiple ideas.
Definitely
That's
agree with
it.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Have a
get
good
caught
evening,
up
fellas.
like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing I can say too is in that, learn very early on how to invest into health insurance at the same time,
Sure,
because
definitely.
that's
Of
important.
Important.
That's
Definitely important.
So there are ways, and with this Obamacare and other things that
Yeah.
it's more
It's there.
affordable.
Right.
It's more affordable. So if you're contemplating getting into this or being an entrepreneur, don't negate that part of
Your health care.
And,
Your
and even
healthcare.
if you ain't, get that health insurance. You need
Yeah,
it.
it's a lot more incentive
Right.
if
Well,
you're an employee.
right.
But
Yeah.
you know,
You got to get it.
for years it's been really, really rough for entrepreneurs to obtain
Oh, yeah.
healthcare. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
there are things in place.
Right. Yeah.
It's been a great
Definitely.
show,
Yeah, I
man.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
definitely dope.
I enjoyed
Appreciate you,
it.
brothers, man.
I
I
appreciate
told y'all
you too.
last time,
This-
man.
This
Yeah,
is very
so-
informative.
But next week, man, I got a title. I think that
Go
We
ahead.
finna,
Hit
I
it.
think
if
it's
we
kinda-
finna get
I
back
think-
to the
I think
Go ahead. Hit
it's
me.
a premarital checklist. I want
shit.
I want y'all to come
With they list.
5 things. No, us as well. 5 things we have to have in order to even consider
getting
nuptials.
With they
Yeah.
fine, funky ass.
Fine, funky ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5, just
Oh,
5,
fine
and
ass.
that is 20 amongst the 4 of us.
Yeah.
20 things.
I'm sure a few of them gonna be the same, though.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, it
fine.
could, but
Yeah.
if that's fine, but that's your list.
Yeah, that's your list.
Yeah.
I think women
I
come
may
with a
have
list.
more than 5.
Tell me if I'm wrong. With the women, they come with a list.
But we choose marriage. We choose. So what's gonna make you say I do to somebody?
Ooh, I think the show should say, what's going to make you say I do?
Let's do it.
Ain't it a
Well,
song
That's the
out
name
there?
of the show.
Yeah, that's the name
What's
of the
going to
show.
make
Yeah.
you say
Say
I
I
do?
It's
I like
it's
that.
an R&B song.
Yeah.
Got that.
If not, we'll make one. Don't
Okay,
trip.
but damn it,
Hey,
let's
we got
go to
EP,
the
baby.
studio.
Well, yeah,
We
gonna
going to the
about to
other
be rocking.
studio after this.
yeah.
Well, you know they said we the spitters.
The spitters.
We about to come out with an album. What to make you
What will
say
make
I
you
do?
say I
Oh,
do.
man, let's wrap this show up, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I like that. By the spitters.
Okay. Now, the real spit aspect of the show. We had going into business and some of the sacrifices, and Brandon mentioned some of the investments of business. Well, no matter what it is, you have to have a why. Your why has to be so important and so strong and so important to you, because the heavier your why, the lighter your how. How ain't gonna even make a difference. How would be a feather. But if you have a solid, strong why, how is easy. Also understand, when you do go into business, you have to be your best employee. Some people have a tendency to go to work and they do whatever the boss needs or requires, but when they get off work and they want to go into their own businesses, they don't give themselves the same standards nor the same disciplines. We have to do that for ourselves. Don't be your worst employee if you're going to be your own boss. There's a book called The 1 Minute Manager. I recommend that people that are interested in going into a business and probably would have other people that they would be spearheading, read the book, 1 Minute Manager. A 1 Minute Manager can tell you in 1 minute how to have, whether it be a 1 minute reprimand and a 1 minute correction, or how to manage another person. So do a little bit of homework, and I think that's also a good book. Also, a lot of people are out here and they want to play lotto and whatever millions it's up to. That's fine. You can either, hope to win lotto, or take a chance on yourself. Spend your money on yourself. Create your own lotto. How much you make will be completely up to you. So invest your time, money, and energy wisely. all that hard work shine through you onto somebody else. We love and enjoy talking to you this week. I hope you guys can enjoy us next week when it sounds like we're about to have a hot topic.
Yeah. Oh, and what you mentioned is 1 minute manager, not 1 minute man.
Yeah.
So make sure you.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they came out with that stuff.
Yeah.
You should be a lot better.
Michelle Graham, Takasha, Belinda, Brandon, Monica, Cassandra. Thank you guys for participating and actively participating and listening to the show. Thank you. Until we see you guys next week, y'all keep on grooving. Y'all keep the wheels moving.
Hey. Learn to listen with this one.
5 things.
5 things. Just 5.
I don't know. I gotta check. I might have more than 5.